Hi everybody, it's Miss Dunn here with day 28 of our multiplication and division work. So let's have those online learning packs ready please, and use the pause button whenever you want to for as long as you want to. Let's go, shall we? Let's get that numeracy brain warmed up with a number wheel. So start with 72 and follow the wheel around, performing the operations that it asks you to. Right then, let's go. 72 times 2. We'll partition it. 70 times 2 is 140. 2 times 2 is 4. Oops. Right, 4 times 2, 2 times 2 is 4. So that gives us 144. Let me just rub that off so I've got some space. Next one. So to 144 we've got to add 2. 146, nice and simple. To 146 we've got to take away 4. Takes us to 142, which we've then got to divide by 2. So 142 divided by 2, we partition it again. So let's do 100 divided by 2 because we know that's 50. Whoops. Then we'll do 40 divided by 2, which is 20. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. Running out of room, I've made my circle a little bit big today, so we add those all together. So we've got 50, 20 and 1 are the quotients of those 3 partitioned divisions, which gives me 71. Write that down here. Then I'm going to add 10, which takes me to 81. Take away 6. Well, if I take away 1, that takes me to 80, which then I can take away 5 from, which gives me 75. Running out of room again, Miss Dunn. Multiply 75 by 2. 7 times 2 is 14, so 70 times 2, 140. 5 times 2 is 10. Add those two together, gives us 100 and exactly 150. And 150 add 4, 154. How did you get on with that? We're going to continue with expanded column method for multiplication today. We're going to bring in those new times tables that we've been learning, the 6s, 7s and 9s. Are you ready? All we're going to do is apply the same process that we've been learning. We're just going to use bigger numbers and the more difficult multipliers, the ones that we've been learning over the last couple of weeks. So let's have a look at how to multiply 42 by 6. Let's refresh those memories then. First job is to line up my calculation correctly. 42 times 6 goes in the ones column because it's a ones number. 6 times 2 is going to be my first calculation. I'm writing it incorrectly because it's actually 2 times 6, isn't it? Because the multiplier is the 6. And 2 times 6 is 12. Next calculation I'm going to complete is 40 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24, so 40 times 6 must be 240. And then I add them together. 2 add 0 is 2, 1 10 add 4 tens is 5 tens, and 200 add no hundreds is 200, 252. All coming back to you now? Now that we've refreshed that memory on the expanded column method, have a go at this one. 46 times 8. Hit the pause button, have a go on your own, and then we'll go through it together. How did you get on with 46 times 8? Let's see, shall we? Here we have the calculation. 6 times 8 is 48. 40 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. So 40 times 8 is 320. And then we add those together to give us 368. How did you do? Now try 39 times 7. Hopefully they're getting easier all the time and we're not getting too daunted by the really big numbers that we're working with. So the first calculation is 9 times 7, which is 63, making sure that we're lining up our numbers. And the next calculation is 30 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21, so 30 times 7 is 210. And then we go along the bottom and add those all together, and hopefully we reach 273 as the product. What about 54 times 9? What is the product there? Right, those numbers are getting really big now, so 54 times 9. As long as we're following the process, it doesn't matter what numbers we're dealing with. The first thing we're going to do is 4 times 9, which is 36. The next thing we're going to do is 50 times 9. 5 times 9 is 45, so 50 times 9 is 450. And then we just go across the bottom, add those all together, gives us 486. How did we find that one? Let's get going with that independent work then, shall we? Here I've got 6 calculations. They're all 2-digit by 1-digit. Use your expanded column multiplication method to get them solved, and we'll go through them all together when you're ready. Let's see how we did with all of those independent calculations then. 38 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. 30 times 8, well, 3 times 8 is 24, so that must mean that 30 times 8 is 240. And that gives us a total of 4. 6 tens add 4 tens is 100, so I've got no tens and I'm exchanging 100 across. That gives me 304. All good so far? 49 times 7 is next. There's my 49, there's my 7. So I'm going to do 9 times 7 first, which is 63. And then I'm going to do 40 times 7. And 4 times 7 is 28, so 40 times 7 must be 280. Okay, and then we add those together. 343. Okay, so the only difference is that little bit of exchanging in the addition at the end, which we all know how to do, don't we? 53 times 6 then. We have a 3 times 6, which is of course 18. Then we have a 50 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30, so 50 times 6 has got to be 300. And that gives me a nice easy addition of 318. Onwards we go to 64 times 7. We start with 4 times 7, which is 28. And then we have 60 times 7. We know that 6 times 7 is 42. So 60 times 7 must be 420. And then we add together in the usual way, giving us a product of 448. 72 times 9. Goodness me, they're getting really big. 2 times 9 is going to be my first calculation. As long as we're following the same process, we're not going to go wrong. And 2 times 9 is 18. And 7 times 9 is 63. Ooh, what mistake has Miss Dunn just made? It's not 7 times 9, is it? It's 70 times 9. 7 times 9 is 63, so 70 times 9 has got to be 630. And then we go along and add those together, which gives us 648. Don't quite know how my 94 times 6 ended up down there, but just bear with me a second while I just scooch it up here. There we go. 94 times 6 then. Hopefully nobody panicked when they saw that 94 at the beginning, because we just need to follow the process. And all we're going to do is 4 times 6, which I'm sure we know is 24. And then 9 times 6 is 54. So 90 times 6 has got to be 540. And then we're just going to add those together, which gives us 564. How awesome is that? Hopefully you did brilliantly. Right, let's have a look at today's target. Now, I am very well aware that last week was our first week back after a half-term break, and I threw lots of new vocabulary and lots of new ideas at you. So we're going to take today to consolidate everything that we learned, and that means we're going to bring it all together and make sure we're really secure on it before we move on to written methods of multiplication. Okay, so I'm going to let you decide whether you partition or factorise the numbers. We're going to continue to work with those bigger numbers. We're going to do 2-digit by 1-digit multiplications, but you can choose whether you're partitioning or factorising, whichever method you feel more confident with. You're going to rewrite the calculation in a way that makes it easier for you to solve. Then you're going to multiply the factors, add together the product, because whichever way you do it you end up with 2 products, and then we're going to write the final product. And hopefully by the end of today's lesson you will all be grinning like Cheshire Cats. Let's get going. And of course we can't have a Miss Dunn numeracy lesson without a challenge. So have a look at the diagram below. What calculation am I trying to complete using these place value counters? I would like you to solve the calculation using the expanded column method, please. Right, so what am I trying to calculate? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones. By my calculation, that means I've got 57 in each row, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So the calculation I'm trying to make is 57 times 4. With me so far? Of course you are. So the first thing I'm going to do is 7 times 4, which of course is 28. And then we're going to do 50 times 4. And we all know, of course, that 5 times 4 is 20. So 50 times 4 has got to be 200. We add all of those together. And the calculation I was trying to make was 57 times 4, which gives me a product of 228. Is that what you got? Hopefully, with every calculation you've completed, they have continued to get easier, despite the fact that the numbers have got larger. So let's check in and think about what emoji you're going to put at the bottom of your page. I can multiply using expanded column method. Have you correctly laid out your calculation so that your ones are lined up underneath each other? Have you multiplied the ones number first by the multiplier? Have you then multiplied the tens number by the multiplier? Have you then added those 2 products together? Hopefully you can all give yourselves a super smiley emoji. There it is, the end of another fantastic numeracy lesson. Hopefully you've all enjoyed our second day of working on expanded column multiplication, and it actually, you'll probably notice now that you're getting better at it, it takes longer to say than it does to actually do. So that brings us one step closer to Monday the 8th of March, hooray! But that doesn't stop you from sending me that wonderful work by WhatsApp, email, or dropping it in the postbox out on your daily exercise. Until next time, take care of yourselves.